We live in a world that's bigger than us. It often changes so slowly, you have to look at it differently to see it move. My name is Jesse, and I take time lapses, which are a series of pictures over the course of hours to show motion in a seemingly still world. One of the reasons I love living in Provo, Utah, is that it is surrounded by mountains, which gives me places to take these pictures. One of the reasons I don't like living in Provo is that the air is often hazy, and it seems to be getting worse each year. So this past winter, my brother and I set out to take a series of hikes overlooking the city to document the Provo Haze through time-lapse.
We kind of expected the air to look better. We just had a storm come through, and it cleared all the air. And here we are, a day later. You can already tell it's getting bad. The more I paid attention to it, you get on a high peak like this, and you can really get that difference between here's the clouds and they're up here and they move like clouds and they're beautiful. But when you look down at the city, it's just this thick, nasty, it just moves completely different. It's a whole different substance.
What looks like haze from the city and fog from above is actually smoke. It's pollution. As the days went on and the pollution got worse, it would wash over the peak we were on. We could smell it, taste it, and it would make us cough.
I'm Rachel Wells. I currently work as a patient care tech at UVRMC here in Provo. When I did my clinical rotations in nursing school at Primary Children's, I did them during a winter term. The winter months, that whole hospital was filled with patients who had asthma. Multiple patients, same scenario. The air quality precipitated an asthma attack. And so they had to come into the hospital because it was so bad that their normal rescue inhalers couldn't cut it. Sometimes the child may not have had asthma, and then they have this asthma attack and their parents don't have the rescue inhalers. And that is a very dangerous scenario. I would not recommend living in Utah Valley if your child has asthma. It's not a good place for asthma.
What happens in Provo is that because it's between two mountain ranges, the new air will often skip over and leave us with our own air that we polluted and that we've created this nastiness, and it builds up on itself and becomes extremely thick. Between storms, we just build up, and it just gets worse and worse and worse, and we're just praying for another storm to blow it all out. That gives Provo a unique perspective on, well, what is the damage that we're doing to the environment? What are we actually producing? Because in other places, all of the CO2 and everything that you produce, it gets blown to other places, and you don't necessarily see what you're doing.
These time lapses show how small changes lead to big movements over time. What this project made me realize is how each of our small individual actions will contribute to either the large-scale problem or the solution. I think Provo is one of the most beautiful places in the world, and I want to help keep it that way.